We're going to be lords. We're royalty. We're going to have the allodial title. We're going to have the rights of the land, of the home, you know, of our wives, our children, you know, our slaves, our properties, you know, our cattle, so on and so forth. We're not going to be subjected to our payments anymore.
And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt behold the city of righteousness, the faithful city. I will also leave you in the midst of you and afflicted all people, and they shall trust in the Lord. The land of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies. Neither shall they receive a tongue be found in their mouth, but they shall feed in thy camp, and thou shalt make them afraid. Sing, O daughter of Zion, shout to Israel. Be glad, and rejoice with all the heart of the daughter of Jerusalem. The Lord hath taken away thy judgments. He hath cast out thine enemy. The King of Israel, even the Lord, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil anymore. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not, and desire. Let not thine hands be slack. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will say, he will rejoice over thee with joy. He will bless thee in his mouth. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly. Who are of thee, to whom the reproach was burning. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflicts thee, and I will sever that holdeth, and gather that was driven out. And I will give them praise and fame in every valley and in Qadash. At that time, for I bring you in, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make your name and praise from all people of the earth. For I turn back your captivity of all your idols, saith the Lord.
When the child is like this,
Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hope elect of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, the so-called foreign Israelites that look like the other nations that across the four corners of the earth. I want to give all praise to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles who raised us on living into this truth. Been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect, to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we be part of that number. Lord willing, to be edifying to those who fear in the name of the Lord, and strive to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5. It is not slash 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 is unto a ring. 2 Peter chapter 5, verse 42. for tuning in. Shalom, Atham. Bahasham. I'll come across. We're going to deal with some topics today, dealing with China. They have basically hidden U.S. codes in the military system. So they're able to access, things like, our water, they can shut off our power, they can do all those kind of things. So typing that today, looking at that. We also got some things dealing with leprosy going on in Florida. And then we're going to deal also, some jobs that are being cut once again. And, World War III is starting to start off. People are starting to get, put into this system. People are starting to understand that the system has been compromised. So we're going to be dealing with this. But first, we're going to start with the situation concerning also slavery. We're going to talk about that a little bit. So we're going to get right here. All right, so it says, it's Kamala Harris versus Ron DeSantis in the fight over Florida's new teaching. So, it's Kamala Harris versus Ron DeSantis on the fight over Florida's new teachings on slavery, right? So we're going to deal with this. It says, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis facing heavy criticism for defending anti-woke teaching in Florida this week, teed up an unusual proposal to the nation's first black vice president. Come debate the merits of the state's new curriculum on so-called African American history, which we know we're not African American. They try to say that because that's what we were taking cats. Something else. Hey, I'm on video, bro. Anyways, it's lucky, y'all. So the state's new curriculum on African American history, so-called African American history, because we know that we were taken here, on ships over there on the side of Africa, but we fled out of Egypt whenever it was the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. So we really, Israel. Okay. So now we're gonna get over here. So less than 24 hours later, Kamala Harris was an African Methodist official church in Orlando firing back. Now we know that she's going off too because, she doesn't understand that that's not our heritage. So we're gonna go back. So, anyways, it was the latest volley and rhetorical war over Florida's new education standards that was escalated in recent days, and it highlights the elevated role of Harris has been taken leading the White House charge against Republicans trying to face off against President Joe Biden, blah, 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 blah. So basically what she's trying to say is that they're wrong for, saying that basically we benefited off slavery. Now, there's a video that GMS in Troop Orlando did about a year or two ago. And it was a video that he got from Elder Yahawah. Not Elder Yahawah, but it was from Elder Benatazabah. And it shows you kind of what happened during the so-called equality race. That they say that we have equal opportunity here. So it's supposed to show that. So we're going to go over here. And so anyways, we're going right here. And this is just like some little thing showing Esau eating or whatever. But we know that this stuff is. Alright, so we're gonna go back here and we're gonna pause this little music or whatever, and then we're gonna go over here and I want to play a video just to show that we didn't benefit off of this, and the reason why it happened because this is not our you can kill me. Bro, I'm on a video, bro. You good, man. basically this is just to show, you know, that we didn't benefit off of the slavery how they say that we did. So this is just a little video to show you that, you know, basically what happened over that 400-year span period into why we are here today, because this is not our kingdom. Okay, this is going to be a short time that we go through this, but that's going to be it. So we're going to go ahead and get right here.
Not some rappers, preachers, not just shouting, it's Rawchaa. The God of all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah. Bahasham, Rawchaa, Bahasham,
I'm on a video, bro.
I'm
Doing live right now, bro.
Great
good. I'm not
good.
I want them to hear what he's saying.
Cases all the opposition to truth, reading the truth. Then forward the other tell you what the hopefully. We shall go on to our walk who are listening and learning. You sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from the GMS Orlando Camp. Coming into another lesson, the truth, faith, and education. Another day of education. Lord's willing. It's be edifying. And this is the elder, Yahawah from South Carolina, brought this video out. It's called Structural Discrimination, the Unequal Opportunity Race. Really, another name for it, also generational wealth. Lord's willing be edifying.
So this is going to show you, they say this is what we benefit off of right here. We're going to watch this for a second. It's not too long.
So you see, they got Esau, Judah, Ephraim on the line, right? So you see, they still got Ephraim and Judah still there. This is showing you the gap of that generational wealth that Esau have, but the northern and southern kingdom doesn't have. The Negroes, Latino, Native American, West Indian Nations does not have generational wealth here in Babylon the Great and the countries around the world. You don't have it. Why? Because this is not your kingdom. This is not your rulership.
They said they try to say that we benefited off of free slavery, all types of different situations that we went through, wealth disparities. So we was in wealth disparities in the 1900s, starting in the 1900s. How could we have benefited off of slavery? That doesn't make no sense. So we're just going to keep going.
So you see, they're showing you from 1492 to 1964. This one, you Negroes, Latino, Native American, West Indian Haitians, you got a small break.
A small break, man. All that time, we got a small break. Okay? And don't remember this, 1963, okay, JFK was assassinated. So a year after that was when we got to get in this so-called race. Okay, and what was he talking about? He said, what? There was conspiracy. There was a confederacy against who? Against Israel. He didn't say that, of course. He tried to say it was to the American people, whatnot, but it's more spiritual than that. It's showing that, you know what I mean, they did this on purpose, okay? This place is set up for us to lose.
To start in what they call in the white man's world. You see? And this is for educational purposes only. Israelites taught. Still hell here, man. Like a stumbling block was placed before you.
Whoa. When these motherfucking devils got the nerve to say that we benefited off slavery, you gotta be kidding me, man.
And it's still racial profiling to this
To
day.
this day, man.
There will always be a separation deal until Shiloh comes.
But you know, you got the jakes that sell out. And they got some little bit of bread, you know what I'm saying? They're just extra paid servants. They're still servants. They don't own no resources. They don't have none. See? So it's all an illusion. We were meant to lose here, period. That's real important right here.
You see that? They got the woman running alongside, leaving a little bit behind, man. You see? And that's for that supposedly so-called equal women's liberation, man. You see that? See, I got Jake on the dead end, man. You see? You see that?
Now, so affirmative action helps level the playing field, right? What it kind of meant spiritually to me was that Jake that was in the bulldozer, those are the prophets coming to show us that we can't win here. That's the prophets coming to level the playing field, saying, well, this is what's going to happen in the end. That's what the elders and apostles of Great Millstone did for us. Okay? So now I want to go ahead and get to some precepts about it. And, you know, Lord willing, I was edifying to those who were listening, who were tuning in. I'm going to just do this off the music for a second. This is Psalms chapter 10, verse 9. All right. And it reads, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. See? They secretly set off. You see how we was in slavery all that time, segregation, all those things happened, and then we was let out on the playing field, and then there was all these traps set before us. You see, this is what it's talking about. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den, and lieth to wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor, and he draweth them into his net. And what's that net? You know, the debt, or the so-called American dream. Like, you think you're gonna make it here, you know? And you got a lot of our people chasing the bag and trying to keep up with the Joneses, and they're gonna end up at a dead end, man. Because this place is designed for us to lose. That's why we keep saying, trust in Yahawah Rawchaa and put him first. He said, then the rest will be added unto you. But first, your spirit has to be built right before he puts you in that situation where you're between poverty and riches. Okay? And we're going to talk about that in a second. There's a precept about it. So verse 10, he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong one. What's that? You know, you got some of these celebrities out here like Jay-Z, these people, they got a lot of money, right? Well, these are who they're talking about, the strong ones. You know, he get the poor to fall into wickedness by looking up to these certain Jays that are doing wickedness in the earth. You know what I mean? So that's what that's talking about. You know, and this is also what the teachers like TD Snakes, Steflo Dollar, Bimbo Bennings, all them. Okay, there are the strong ones to Esau Edom. So he uses them to catch the other Israelites into being caught up in this so-called white man's world and try to be like them. Okay, so now we're gonna go over here. We're gonna do Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 10. And it reads, a wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. So what does that mean by Esau Edom is a niggard at his table? It's saying that he don't even care if his own people struggling. As long as his house is good, it don't matter. As long as he's living good, it don't matter what's going on with people around him, even his own people. Niggard means like greedy, selfish. You know, they're selfish people. So now we're gonna go over here. We're going to do Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. So this is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. See, we're tributaries here. Okay, we always having to pay something over here. We're always subject to payments here. Okay, but after we get to the kingdom, that won't happen no more. So he that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity. See, sin upon sin. And what's vanity? A lot of riches, money, fame, and that's what they have to do. That's why I said that Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. They have to continually do wickedness until they get all that vanity. And then when they get there, they be like, damn, man, this ain't even it, you know? And that's why we not to worry about it. Now, you know, the Lord might bless some of us with some things, and we're supposed to share that with the brotherhood. That stuff is not for us. That stuff is to ease other brothers, other families that are going through things that trust in the Lord. You know, that's not just for us. That's why we do things together. This is a together thing. We separated, but it's together in the spirit. But if you were to gain some riches off of something, you're supposed to share that with the family. This is just like, it's like basically if you are the elect, everybody else that's in the elect is basically your blood family, okay? Through the spirit, okay? So you wouldn't let your family just struggle, right? If you got something that was beneficial to you and somebody, to another person in the family, right? No, you wouldn't do that. You would, you would share it. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to look out for each other. So, that's just, something that I want to talk about, because these are some things that the Lord is preparing me to step into. Not that I know 100%, but I have faith, because so far things have been going that way, and I want to have the right mindset stepping into this situation, and, I know I'm not alone. I got my big brothers with me. I got my elders with me. I got people with me, we need our leaders. We need our leaders to be better people every day. When we look at them and watch them do what they do, it helps us be more encouraged to be better men. So, and just like Elder Manasseh Zalbach said, he said it's going to get rough sometimes. Sometimes it's going to get messy. But hey, if you're not willing to go through troubles for Yahawashi and Yahawashi, then how are you going to survive Jacob's trouble? Because we're not going to just come out of that unscathed. We're going to scarcely be saved out of that. It's going to be a very tough time. We're going to get saved barely off, you know what I'm saying? Our faith, our strength will not prevail in that time. We're going to need spiritual power. So Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7, the rich ruleth over the poor. Oh, wait, I already put that one. I want to put Proverbs 31 verse 9. Oh, that's the one. Salaki. This is Proverbs chapter 31 verse 9, and it reads, "Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy." See, so we're supposed to look out for those who are less fortunate than us. You know, if it ever comes around where we are able to, because we are basically the poor of the earth. Okay, we're not we're the ones at the bottom. We're the ones making pennies. You know, at the so-called white man's table. Okay, I went for that part. Okay, so now we're gonna go over to Proverbs chapter 19, verse 22. We'll go back a little bit. We're gonna read something right there. And it reads, "The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar." So see, the reason why we don't have riches is because we're not going to be flaunting ourselves as if, you know, we are, you know, gained our riches fairly, because everybody here who gained their riches did not gain them fairly. Okay, it was not a fair situation. They did a lot of wickedness. Now there's some people who maybe want a settlement, whatnot, or whatever, but that's because it says that the Lord stored up the treasures of the wicked for the righteous. So sometimes people get see. So when that does happen to somebody who's righteous, it's because, you know, that's the Lord wants that to happen for a specific reason. You know, so First Samuel, you know, but that's really talking about, you know, at the end of everything, you know, we're going to gain all these riches back. You know, all the riches that they stole from King Solomon's temple, you know, all that. We're going to gain all that back. So this is verse 2, verse 7. First Samuel chapter 2, verse 7, it says, "The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up." See? So we're here for a reason, you know, but that doesn't mean that, you know, we're here at the low of this earth for the reason, because it says the meek shall inherit the earth. You know? So since the meek shall inherit the earth, that's why he's got us at a low state, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of us, you know, we're not super poor. You know, we have places and have a little bit and jobs and whatnot. But if the Lord does lift you up and increase you, just don't let it get to your head. Make sure that you seek that guidance from the elders and apostles, and make sure that you're handling that blessing that he gave you accordingly to make sure it blesses the body. You know? So that's just the whole thing that Lord put the Spirit on me to deal with, because this is something that I'm going through right now. You know, so Psalm chapter 82, verse 3. You know, you want to think about things before things happen. You want to imagine in your mind kind of how to go about in those things. And think about what Yahawashi would do. You know, he would feed his sheep, right? He would feed his brothers. He would look out for his brothers, right? This is Psalm chapter 82, verse 3. "Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy." See, these are the things he's telling us to do. You know, and even if we don't have a lot, we're still to, you know, look out for those, you know, who may be in the same position as us or maybe less fortunate. You know, this is a sacrifice. You know, you're gonna lose more than you gain on this side physically. You're gonna gain more spiritually than you lose physically. It's opposite. So Leviticus chapter 19, start that little wrong slot. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 15, "Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment," right? So we're not supposed to do no unrighteousness in judgment at all. So no matter what or who is to deal with, we're not supposed to be a respecter of persons. We're supposed to, you know, have a righteous judgment. But it's good to listen to the elders and apostles, because they've been more experienced in different situations to understand what righteous judgment is and what's not. You know, But sometimes we'll get a certain judgment and we'll get a certain rebuke and not understand why we got that rebuke until later. So thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness thou shalt judge thy neighbor. See? So it's got to be balanced, you know. But it's good. It's good to make sure that you are paying attention to what the elders and apostles are saying, because they're not going to lead you wrong. You know, they've been laboring their whole life. So Ecclesiasticus, chapter 11, verse 4. And it reads, boast not of thy clothing and raiment, and exalt not thyself in the day of honor. Okay? For the works of the Lord are wonderful, and his works are among men are hidden. See? So we want to be, you know, almost like that, you know, have hidden works. You know, for Bahasham, Yahawashi, do things in private. See? Now, right here, it says, okay, so this is where I was getting at when you want to be kind of in the middle somewhere. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 9, lest I be fooled and deny thee and say, who is the Lord, or at least I be poor and steal and take the name of my power in vain, Yahawashi, Yahawashi. It says, accuse not the servant unto his matter, lest he curse thee, and thou be found guilty. Hold on, I gotta find it. That's not what I'm looking for. 1 second. Yeah, it's Proverbs chapter 30, verse 8. So it says, remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. So see that, and that food is that spiritual food. But also, with physical things, we want to eat healthy. We want to do things to the best of our ability. Some of us who don't have as much, we only have enough to take care of immediate things, and maybe not have as good as food. You just want to try to balance it out. Do the intermediate and fasting, things like that. But you want to be somewhere right off in the middle. See. So even if you do end up somehow the Lord blessing you with the provisions, you want to give enough to people who need it, to where you don't corrupt them as well. Not corrupting them. If you give somebody too much money, you can corrupt them. But and they're not even just money. It can be anything. You can help somebody with whatever. So just keep that in mind. Because it can happen to any of us. So, just make sure that you want to stay in that area where you're not too comfortable, but you're not too uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So now we're going to go to the second video. And, Lord willing, that makes sense. I'll try to be as accurate as I can when talking about situations concerning that. So CDC warning as leprosy cases increase in Florida. So infectious disease agencies suggest central portion of the state may have become endemic location for potentially debilitating disease. So leprosy cares are surging in Florida. U.S. Centers for Disease Control. Let me look this up a little bit. Prohibition CDC with a new report suggesting the central area of the state may have become an epidemic location for infection, potentially debilitating disease. There are 159 new cases of leprosy in the U.S. in 2020, the most recent year which data was studied. According to the report published on Monday by the CDC, Florida was among the top reporting states, and almost a fifth of all cases were reported in the state's region. Central Florida was responsible for 81% of the cases reported in the state. So there's a lot of that going on over there right now. Now we know leprosy is in the scriptures. So we're gonna go read some things about it. We're gonna put in some precepts before we do. It's Isaiah. So go back. Okay, so Isaiah 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, it shall not return unto me void, right? So the words that we're giving you are the words of Bahasham, Yahawashi. Okay, and what we're saying, that the Lord is saying, is not going to return to him void. It's going to come back and accomplish. But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it. See? He said he's not going to utter something out of his lips and it not come to pass. Everything that he's said is going to come to pass. Now we're going to go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 14. And it reads, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Right? Verse 15, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out until it consumes the foundation of the earth. So these are the plagues that are coming out. And until the whole completion of these plagues is sent out, they're not going to stop. So Leviticus chapter 13, verse 9. So let's go read a little bit into leprosy. So Leviticus chapter 13, we're going to go down to about 9. So when the plague of leprosy is in a man, he shall be brought unto the priest. This is how we used to handle leprosy. So, and the priest, hold on, it's a lot of people.
Think of all the ads like this one. I think the software engineering program, because
a lot of people put in infomercials.
Industry.
Okay. So when the plague of leprosy is in a man, then it shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him and behold the rising of the white in the skin, and have turned the hair white, and there quick raw flesh in the rising. See, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. Right? If the leprosy break out abroad the skin, and the leprosy cover all of the skin within that have the plague from his head even to his foot, whatsoever the priest looketh, the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that have the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean. But when the raw flesh appears in him, he shall be unclean. Right? And the priest shall see the raw flesh, and pronounce him to be unclean, for the raw flesh is unclean, it is a leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turn again and be changed unto white, he shall come unto the priest, and the priest shall see him, and behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. He is clean. The flesh also, in which even in the skin thereof was a boil and is healed. And in the place to boil there to be a white rising or a bright white spot white, and somewhat reddish, and it be showed to the priest. See? And if the priest seeth it, behold, it be in the sight lower than the skin, if the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil. But if the priest look upon him, behold, there be no white hairs therein. If there be not lower than the skin, but he somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. See? So leprosy was basically your pigment being taken away. Okay? And that's how it is with these Edomites. Okay? They don't have no pigment. And that's basically the curse, that was put upon Cain. Because when Shem, Ham, and Japheth came out of the flood with Abraham, with Noah, right? Shem, Ham, and Japheth, his sons, were all melanated people. They were dark skinned. Okay? So Cain was wiped off the earth, and he came back as Esau. Okay? Because Esau came out straight white, you see, which is reincarnation. So, like I said, and if it spread abroad, much abroad the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. But if the bright spot stay in the place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if there be any flesh in the skin whereof there is a hot burning, and the quick flesh that burneth hath a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white, the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot turn white, and it be inside deeper than the skin, it is a leprosy broken out of the burning. Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. So we're going to keep reading a little bit more. But if the priest look upon it, and behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and be no Lord in the other skin, but be somewhat dark, and the priest shall shut him up 7 days. Right? And the priest shall look upon him the 7th day, and if he spread much abroad in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. So that guy, he lost all his pigment. It was a curse from the Lord. And that's how we know Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, they are cursed. We're under the curses, but we're not cursed. They're cursed. Okay, it's a difference. And if people are basically cursed by having that, basically means they are bound on this earth forever and be carnal people. They will never be spiritual. They will never get to leave this planet. They will be here for 1,000 years of slavery and they'll be destroyed forever. And the other 16 nations, they don't have leprosy. But their curse is that they can't become a mortal leader. Okay? They can't become a mortal leader. And they just gonna be here and be our servants. You see? But they're gonna be happy about it. They're not gonna be upset, They're gonna be way more happy living off of our laws than to Esau Edom's. So if a man or a woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague. And what it means on the beard, what does it mean? Blonde hair. And the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be this sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, see, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scowl, even a leprosy upon his head and beard. And if the priest look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not in the sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, and the priest shall shut him up that hath the plague of the skull 7 days. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the skull spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair. What's yellow hair? Blonde. And that's why we telling Eve, stop blinding your hair and stuff, dyeing your hair blonde and stuff. That's a curse. And the scalp shall not be in the sight deeper than the skin. He shall be shaven and but the scalp shall not shave, and the priest shall shut him up that hath the skull 7 days more. And the 7th day the priest shall look upon the skull, and behold, if the skull be not spread in the skin, nor be in the sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the skull spread much in the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall look on him, and behold, and who were the priests back then? The Levites. So if the skull spread in the skin, the priest shall not see the yellow hair, he is unclean. But the skull is in his sight at the stage, and that there is a black hair thrown up therein. The skull is healed, he is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. So be just a little bit more. If a man or a woman also have in the skin of their flesh bright spots, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look and behold, if the bright spots in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckle spot that groweth in the skin, he is clean. Okay, so they even broke down what, like they call them over here birthmarks, stuff like that. You see, they broke all the stuff down in the scriptures. And the man whose hair is falling off his head, he is bald, yet he is clean. And he that have hair, and that's why, if you got some people in the truth that, if they can't grow their hair, there's nothing wrong with that, they still clean. And he that had his hair, but we're in the grace anyway, so it don't matter. And he that have his hair falling off from the part of his head toward his face, he is forehead bald, yet he is clean. I'm not saying that it don't matter, but what I'm saying, like, they're not going to be condemned for that. It wasn't like something they just shaved off themselves. You can still repent from that, but, we know not to do it. So if there be a bald head or a bald forehead, a white reddish sword, it is a leprosy sprung up in his bald head or his bald forehead. And the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sword be white reddish in his bald head or in his bald forehead, as leprosy appears in the skin of the flesh, he is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head. So we'll just stop right there. I wanted to read a little bit about leprosy, deal with that. Those are things that we dealt with in those days. So we're going to go right there. Now we're going to deal with some things concerning the Chinese has their hidden code in the military system. So we're going to read this article. Not all of it, but sabotage Chinese code hidden in U.S. military system. Understand? So hidden in U.S. military system, China can cut off military power, water, communications. Report says, right? So we're going to read a little bit about this, about how they got this going on. So, the United States officials have discovered Chinese malware on multiple military systems that experts claim was intended to disrupt the U.S. military and may give China the ability to cut power, water, and communications to U.S. military bases. Okay? Big deal. According to the New York Times, experts have warned that recent malware attack used a different form of code that has the capability of disrupting both military and civilian operations, a notable departure from previous malware attacks that were limited to surveillance operations. So, during the recent Intelligence and National Security Summit, Deputy Director National Security Agency George Barnes stated, China is steadfast and determined to penetrate our governments, our companies, our critical infrastructure. The New York Times reported that the new malware has potential to allow China to cut off the U.S. military bases with power, water, and communications, as well as impact home and businesses throughout the United States. National Security Agency Director of Cybersecurity Rob Joyce has described the new malware as really disturbing, okay? And it doesn't seem like there's nothing they can do about it. So it says experts have indicated they're currently not certain that whether China's government is aware of the recent malware, according to the New York Times. Additionally, it is not clear how well the software works. So, they're trying to say that they're not sure if it's working, but that just doesn't make any sense, for them not to know. So let me get back over here.
How powerful is constant enough? So powerful. The one you'll be able to.
So we're gonna go over here. Put this up. We're gonna put in some precepts. But before we put in some precepts, we're gonna read another one. So you know how they say that they're not sure if they know it works? Well, when you go look over here, it says officials found suspected Chinese malware hidden in various military systems. It's intended to uses disruption rather than surveillance. It's a disturbing change in intent, experts say. See, intent. They had intent to do this. See, they're finding this kind of stuff. You sabotage this in their military weapons, in their planes and stuff. So we know that they know. You know, they know what they're doing. And while that's going on, this is what China's doing as well. It says China secretly sends enough gear to Russia to equip an army. So they're getting ready. They're getting ready for a huge battle. China and Africa, okay, are getting ready to join the BRICS full scale. And they're going to attack America, Babylon, and Britain with other countries. Okay? So we're going to look up some precepts on this. Obadiah chapter 1. Verse 7. It says, all of the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, the men that were at peace with thee, right? Because China used to, you know, they dealt a lot with America, Babylon the Great, and also other nations. They all were worshiping this place, okay? Using the Petrodome. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is none understanding in him. See? So they know that they know that they're deceiving them. But you can send the NLT and it's going to explain something that says your allies will turn against you. See, China was allies with America for a while, okay? But it was only to deceive them. So your allies will turn against you, and other nations will too. They will help chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you. You won't even know about it. See? So they're not finding out until too late. And they're just saying they don't know what to do about it. They can't do nothing about it. See? They can't do nothing about it. So now, we're going to do Jeremiah chapter 19, verse 8. And it reads, I will reduce Jerusalem, you know, which is talking about it's talking about really the land of Israel is what they're going to do that too. But this is what happened to us, you know. But now Jerusalem basically represents, you know, Jerusalem represents us, you know, because we're scattered across the world. But he's not going to reduce us to ruins. But he reduced us to ruins last time, you know. But this time he's going to do it to the land of Israel, to those people who claim themselves to be the Jews. They say they're the Jews, but they're not. They say that they're the Israelites. They're not the Israelites. So I'll reduce Jerusalem, or we say Jerusalem, to ruins, making it a monument to their stupidity. All who pass by will be astonished and will gasp at the destruction they see there. See? That's what it's going to be like. They're going to be like, we can't believe that place got destroyed. You see? So Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 17. It says Edom will be an object. You know what? I need to go back. We're going to read that in the King James Version. I had it in NLT. So it said, also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by shall be astonished. And shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. See, when you went to the NLT, it said Jerusalem. See? That's talking about the land of Israel and also America, Babylon the Great. Okay? So we're going to go over here to Jeremiah 49:17. And you know, also China. They're going to get destroyed by intercontinental ballistic missiles too. Okay? Because it said there should be a Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, what I said in my last lesson. So we're going to do Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Okay, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partaker of her sins, that ye might receive not of her plagues." And that's talking about America, Babylon the Great. We are to come out of this place because that's normal. That's mainly where most of us are, you know. And we were driven away from, you know, we were driven away from Israel, from the land of Israel, and when the Roman Empire raided Israel in 70 AD, and we fled into Africa. That's why they try to say we're so-called Africans, right? So second, Esdras, chapter 15, chapter 46, or verse 46. And it reads, "And thou, Asia," we're talking about Moab, you know, Moab and the Ammonites, which is so-called Japanese. Moab is the so-called Chinese. "And the partaker of hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person." But this is really talking about so-called Chinese right now. Moab, okay? Verse 47, "Woe unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom," right? "That they might please the glory in thy lovers," which is what? Babylon the Great and the other nations, "which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee." See, they all came up with conspiracy, Psalms 83, to make sure we didn't come in no more remembrance, right? So, you know, this is just showing that, you know, this is those whoredoms that they committed, you know, the atrocities they done to America, Babylon the Great, or not America, Babylon the Great, but to the Israelites. It's what's going to really put them in a position to be destroyed. Okay, and he's not going to take back away the punishments thereof, as it says in Amos. So, you know, that's showing that China can cut off our water, they can cut off our communication systems, and all that. You know, there's not going to be no stopping these intercontinental ballistic missiles from coming over here. Let me go back over here. Okay. And it's an infomercial. Salakia.
Online AP courses through Horizon.
Okay. So CBS to lay off 5,000 employees, right? So they're just going to lay off. Just the other day, anyways, Salakia. Just the other day, there was it was called Yellow, I think. But I put a thing in my community board talking about it, and they laid off 30,000 employees. They shut down. They talked about it the day before they might shut down, and then the very next day they closed it down. 30,000 people lost their jobs instantly. And now we got CBS laying off 5,000 employees. See, there's a lot of things that are happening right now. So it's laying off 5,000 employees as a part of the effort to shed costs. The retail and pharmacy chain confirmed on Tuesday. So layoffs will permanently affect non-customer facing positions such as corporate roles. The company said, adding that it does not expect the move to impact brick and mortar stores, pharmacists, and clinics. So most things that are happening starting at the top. You know, Esau Edom is being brought low. All these white collar people who have been so proud, the Lord is cutting their jobs off. So we're going to go over here. But it's also been, you know, just regular workers as well. So we're going to do Job chapter 13, verse 4. And it reads, "But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all positions of no value." So even though they do make a lot of money, positions and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? It's showing that, you know, we don't need to trust these people anyway. Okay, and the Lord is getting rid of most of them, you know. He's getting rid of these corporate people, so what do you think is going to happen next? They're going to have AI robots in there doing the job of the regular people, but they just don't have enough yet. So Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 22. reads, there is no balm in Gilead. Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered? See, we can't recover here. You know, we don't have anything to really heal us, so everything is poison. You know, the only thing that's healing us is this truth. You know? But we still under heavy curses. We're not gonna be all together. We're not gonna go unpunished either. We're gonna have to suffer through certain things. Coming back into the truth still. So Mark chapter 2, verse 17, when Yahawashi heard it, he said unto them, they that are whole have no need of the physician. See, they don't need Yahawashi, but they that are sick, I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. See, so he didn't come to get somebody who's just super righteous. He's coming to get the people who are lost in this world, that are Israelites, to come back and repent and follow the ways of the Lord to the best of their abilities. And that's what we're doing. So right here, this is Israel buys tens of thousands of 155 millimeter shells as global demand jumps. So while Russia and them are getting ready, China getting ready, Israel's getting ready, everybody's getting ready for this big battle at the Valley of Yahawashi, which is Jehoshaphat in the Bible. Okay? What they say Jehoshaphat, but there's no J's in Paleo or Hebrew, so that's why we say Yahawashi. And it means Yahawah has judged. Okay? That's that word means. So we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this a little bit, read just a little bit. Jerusalem, Israel's Ministry of the Defense is procuring $60 million worth of 155 millimeter artillery shells and a deal meant to shore up Jerusalem's access to the shells that have proved crucial to the fight in Ukraine. And this is talking about the land. This ain't talking about us, right? So the deal with Israel's Elbit systems, announced by July 31st, comes months after the U.S. reportedly removed some 300,000 155 millimeter shells from the stocks in Israel to keep stocks that are owned by the U.S. but positioned in Israel and be accessed by the Israeli military in case of emergencies. So see, they own other people's stuff and they be having them hold it, but most of the stuff, this place owns, and they're going to use their own weapons against them. When it comes in the end, after they run out of enough. So now we're going to go over here. We're going to look up some precepts about this, and then we're going to be done. So this is Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 14. And it reads, is Israel a servant? Is he his homeboard slave? Why is he spoiled? So if this was Jerusalem, if this was us, why do we got $60 million to buy 155 millimeter artillery shells? That's how we know that that's not us, man. That's not the people of Israel. Okay? That's not us, man. That's Amalek. That's the so-called white man, man. Over there posing to be us. We homeborn slaves. Been over here for 400 years, 400 plus years in slavery, man. We can't buy no $60 million worth of artillery shells, but they say they Israel. They're not Israel, man. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And it reads, and the Lord shall bring thee again, shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. We didn't have to go on ships to get to Egypt. We could have just walked over there. That's how we know this is talking about over here. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. What's that see it no more again? That's the land of Israel. We're not there right now. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondswomen, and no man shall buy you. And we look at that word buy, it means to redeem. Nobody's going to redeem us out of the so-called white man's hand. We're going to be stuck here. Okay? That's not us over there buying those weapons. And we're going to prove it right here in the New Testament. Because these are our weapons right here. These words, these scriptures. So 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. And it reads, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, to the pulling down of strongholds, those strongholds, mental strongholds, spiritual strongholds. Okay, but the Lord's not going to let them be broke down and cast down unless He wants you to keep everybody blinded if He doesn't want you to understand. Which it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. Sorry, I gotta go back. So casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, right? And bringing into captivity every thought of the obedience of a Mashiach, right? That's what you're supposed to be doing, capturing every thought and having in readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. And that's what we're doing. We're doing this to fulfill our vows to Yahawah and complete what we're supposed to do. And Lord willing, we'll probably be elect. And once we're all sealed, we'll get out of here. So Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 33. Okay, and this is the Lord promising that He's going to give us back our lands. But first, we're going to have to go through certain things. Like it says, thus saith the Lord Yahawah in the day that I shall have cleansed you from our iniquities, I shall also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the wastes shall be builded. By who? All the other nations in slavery, 1,000 years of slavery. They're going to have to build all that. Okay. But before that, we had to what? We had to view our inequities. We had to have godly sorrow. We had to be, man, we messed up, and then after we go through all that, we fulfill our obedience by obeying the laws to the best of our abilities and all of the times passed through, then we'll be able to get out of here. Verse 34, Lord willing. And the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by. See, it was desolate. Remember when we read earlier? It was desolate. Verse 35, and they shall say, this is the land that was desolate. It's become like the Garden of Eden. Why? It can be rebuilt. And the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited by who? By the Hebrew Israelites, by us, Lord willing. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, the Lord, build the ruined places and plant that was desolate. I, the Lord, have spoken it, and I will do it. He's going to do this. Okay? He's going to do this. We're going to wait for Yahawah until He does. We're not going to falter our mind. We're not going to change our mind. We're not going to do nothing that. Lord willing. Okay? Because it's not like, we love doing these lessons. People who do these lessons on a regular basis, everybody at Great Millstone at the top, or down to the followers like me, we love doing this work for Yahawah. That's why we're diligent. That's why we stay, hopeful, because this is all that matters, But the Lord had to put the Spirit on us to know this is the only thing that matters, So that's why we have a lot of joy in our hearts, in our minds. Because joy is understanding the spirit world. Because there's anything here that's hope is not hope. You see, it's all vanity. So, Lord willing, it was edifying. Shalom to elect Israel, to the hopeful elect Israel, the Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. Gotta give our praise to Barak, Yahawashi. Gotta give our praise to Yahawashi, Qadash. Give double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, living to the truth. And been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live and think, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect, to the hopeful elect. Lord, when we part that number, and Lord, when we get upon those who in the name of the Lord, we strive to show forth the Lord's righteousness and live to the best of their abilities. The judgment always comes to light, chapter 9, chapter 3, verse 5, but it's not slight, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. It's unto a wing, 2 Peter chapter 5, verse 42. We want to tune in. Lord, when we'll be able to talk to name Yahawah every day, and we'll be able to get up out of here the next day. Whatever the Lord brings, whatever His will is, Lord, when we'll be able to be a part of it. So, Shalom, Baba Ball, welcome to the meeting. Shalom.